Hello everyone and welcome to another magical keyboard build stream. Today we will be rebuilding an E7-V1. One of the first 75% I've done on the show, I think, so this should be interesting. Let's say, if it's your first time here, I do keyboard builds on the show. I do builds from the hardware end to the software end, and hopefully everything in between. So yeah, let's talk about what we're doing today real quick. Oh yeah, first and foremost, my drink for the day is kombucha. As some of you may know, I've been on a kombucha kick lately, so I'm trying a new one today. This one's blueberry mint kombucha. Once again, I believe this is locally sourced, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Well, not local here to Washington, but still within the Pacific Northwest. This one's bottled by Oregon, or bottled in Bend, Oregon, actually. Very nice. Let's see. How many people on today? 17. Awesome. Let's see. I see quite a few people on today. I see a Zujo, I Have No Name, Mr. Hinks, Nebulant, It's Logo for Poop, Laguber, LTBAL. Awesome. Thanks guys for joining in and supporting this channel. Let's see. I actually haven't tasted this one quite yet, so blueberry mint, huh? Definitely smell the blueberry. I can't even taste the mint. It's mainly just blueberry. Awesome. All right, let's talk about this particular board. This was sent to me by a customer to do a rebuild on, mainly because I believe when he put it together, he didn't use the correct stabs, or the stabs weren't properly put together. Who knows? And this is a very good example. Like backspace, enter key, and left shift all seem fine, but the space bar just creaks and rattles every time I press on it. And I noticed when I was playing Crunker, every time I'd press it to jump, it would just be super mushy. So hopefully today we'll be replacing all of his stabs with something he found on Amazon, which is interesting. These are called Zug Gear, which I've never heard of before, but they are supposedly Everglide / Durock copies or rebrands. But you can find these on Amazon apparently. Zug Gear Transparent Gold. So yeah, Zug Gear is Durock, says Zujo. Oh, awesome. There we go. You can find these on Amazon apparently. They sent me a bunch. And we'll see how these go. I'm unsure as to what stabilizers these are. They're black, so they're probably some form of cherry. Either the retooled, the pre-tool one, or possibly just a copy. You can't really tell at this point. Its logo for poop says, I think Durock even runs Zug Gear. Interesting. It's not a third party. Very nice. Right. Yeah, I've already taken off most of the keycaps. This is GMK Hyperfuse. One of my favorite colorways, might I add. And the board I'm using in front of me is the KBD67 Mark II, which if some of you are interested in purchasing this, there is a several thousand people wait list currently on KBD Fans, but I believe it's going on sale tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're interested, be sure to log in during that time period. And maybe you'll get super lucky and actually score one. Who knows, right? Let's see, let's turn on some music. I'm actually personally hoping to grab another one, but not in metal. I heard that polycarbs are coming out, so I'm hoping to grab one in polycarb. We'll see. Let's see. Zujo says, everyone trying to get a KBD67. I know, right? Debulant is using the V1. Vince says, what do I think about the KBD8X? I think it's fine. It's like pretty much every other KBD fan's keyboard. Alright. Oh, so if you guys were watching my Tuesday stream, I got Via to work on this guy. So now here, let me just give a quick demo. Let's see. Once again, this is the exclusive E7-V1 and there we go. Exclusive. I believe this might be the first exclusive board in Via. But here we go. Just a quick sneak peek. Bam. So one thing about this board is all of its RGBs are right there. So you can actually change some of the lighting. For example, let's do Night Rider. See that? It's pretty cool. You can also change it to breathing. Or what else? Rainbow. Let's do rainbow. I guess rainbow's kind of boring. Not much there. Snake is the cool one. See that? You can all change this dynamically using Via right now. I'm gonna leave it like that because that's pretty cool. Let's see, its logo for poop says what switches and caps. These are E7-V1s. This is an E7-V1 with creams, and we're also going to be using GMK Hyperfuse on these. Let's see. Alright, let's get going on this. Actually, you know what? Before I take apart the board, I'm gonna lube these stabs. I'm gonna lube these Zuggear / Durock stabs. Okay, I've counted out the necessary housings that I need, so I should be good. Right, let's do this. I like to lube with 205 G0, which I picked up from Project Keyboard. These are like 40 bucks, but he gives you so much. Its logo for poop says, Merlin, are you getting an HMKB? No, I am not. I recently just purchased a 7V, so I am taking a break. Made me broke. Lost Pop says 7V made you broke. I didn't even get any add-ons. I just got the base set in blue. I still have a Xeno to build and an ID80 that's coming in, so I think I'm good. Shouldn't need to worry too much about the 75s. Oh, not sure if you guys saw, but Cherry, you know, the company that designed the MX switch, They just released a QMK video on how to use QMK Configurator. I think it came out yesterday. Alessio posted it to me and was like, Merlin, check this out. Did they do this correctly? I have not watched the video. I just skimmed through it, but from the looks of it, it seemed to work. But the interesting thing to note is Cherry made this video. So I wonder if they have plans for using QMK in their future. Its logo for Poop says, watch it on stream. Can I do that without incurring any copyright violations? Like, I can probably watch it while I'm streaming, but I'm not showing it on my screen. You're trying to take my QMK crown. I don't have a crown. I have a wizard hat. Yeah, we don't have any official titles. We have a QMK wizard, but we don't have a knight, a baron, a lord, a king or queen. Nebulant says, can I be the jester? Sure. Oh my god. The QMK jester. What? The QMK clown. You know, at this point, I think you know enough about QMK to flash your board, change your key map, and that's really all you need. And now you've got VIA, so you really only have to flash it once. Well, you flash it once, and every time there's some major update that actually affects your board. The QMK clown. Some would argue that because of my puns, I'm more of the QMK clown than I am the QMK wizard. I keep mentioning that there are more wizards than me out there. I'm just the only one with this hat. Branding, you know. You'd think I say the word VIA at least 20 times per stream. Well, would not be surprised. I am a big proponent of using VIA. Ever since VIA has come out, I have gotten a huge decrease of people asking me how to flash their board or how to change their key map. I think one of the biggest questions I used to get was, how do I change my RGB colors? What key codes do I need to use? With VIA, you don't even need to have key codes on your board. You can just use the VIA app. With that said, I'm still very much a QMK collaborator. And I intend to be one for a while. You need some Zuggear stabs. I'd never actually heard of Zuggear until this customer sent them to me, so it's been educational. One thing I like about streaming this is you are forced to learn. Like, you can't just stay stagnant. You can't just be like, oh, the only mechanical keyboards I know of are the Poker 3. You know, like you have to keep learning. Oh, so one thing about me, I'm part of the Seattle YouTube community, so we've got meetups specifically for that, and there's like a Facebook page for that as well. And I noticed that there's this new tech YouTuber here. She's really young. I think she looks like she's like 18 or 19, but she does tech. And I noticed because she did the Keychron board just last week, I was just like, oh, Keychron, interesting. Its logo says, have you heard about the issue with NK blueberries? No, I have not. My only issue with NK blueberries is that I don't have them. The lighter spring stick, the bump is so big they don't come up on space bars. Oof. I feel like that's an oversight. Because in some cases, even with ergo clears, which use an MX clear stem, you have that problem too. So by extension, any bump that is bigger than that should have that problem as well. Alright. Someone the one asked me on stream, Merlin, what color stabs do you like the best? I actually really like the clear stabs because they're clear, it's easier for me to lube them. Because with solid colored ones, you know, you can lube them, but you don't know if you spread it out evenly. Like what I've done here. Why would you want sub 50G tactiles anyway? Hey, it's preference, man. That's what they always say, preference. Believe it or not, there are people who actually love Cherry MX Brown. Alright. I'm done with the 205G0. Can do all the dielectrics now. I have no name says, I love vintage browns. Quite a few people do, actually. That is not an uncommon thing. Nebulant says, I appreciate a good, refined, mild tactile. It's almost like you're talking about wine or something. Yeah, I've drifted away from the tactile game. I'm now very much a linear guy. Though I do have to say tactiles are more interesting. Just not interesting enough for me to like actually use. How long was I a clicky guy? 0 days. Oh wait, that's not true. I used a Model M for a couple months at work, might I add. Everyone kept making fun of me about it, but most people didn't really mind. And I like to think it's because I was one of the younger people at work. So most of the other engineers that I chatted with were from an era in which that sound was predominant. Let's see. Lolu Raw Potato, thank you for following. At one point we should all be clicky. Have I bought a worm keyboard yet? No, I have not. The reason being, like, I'd buy this keyboard, right? But would I use it? No. So I'm literally just throwing money away. I'd rather save my money to get switches or other video gear, whatnot, you know. That's way too much lube. Let me take some off there. The Womier, or the Wormier, as some people like to call it. Alright, we should be done with the stabs. Perfect. Okay. Got all the stabs that I need. We can now take the board apart. Put this all away. Oop. Some of my lube just spilled. Oh well. Take care of that later. Let's see. Amber Alps are some of the most rare because they only come on one board, if I remember correctly. S3LQ, thank you for following. Okay, let's do this. Let us take apart the E7-V1. Oh shoots, where did I put my screw part? Uh-oh. Here it is. I had an opportunity to buy one at one point. I saw someone on Craigslist selling an Apple IIc for 70 bucks. But it was beaten. It was beaten to trash. It was completely like garbage. And I was like, should I still get it? Those switches still look like they'll be fine. But like the keycaps were like scratched and everything. And I'm like, should I do it or not? I opted not to do it. Alright, let's do this. Logo for Poop says bad Merlin. Well, no, I'm sure he found a buyer, because within 2 weeks it was gone. And with Seattle being one of the larger mechanical keyboard communities, I'm pretty sure it's someone I might know who got it. Hello. Why don't you come out? There we go. Boom. So he has sorbethane on it. Sorbethane and creams. Alright, we gotta desolder this baby. You know, I'm actually gonna take the plate off as well, so it's easier to work on. see, it's a Phillips head, not a hex. Tomb Spirit says, I got the BDN9 from Keebio, I imagine. And I'm scared to solder it. I feel like you're gonna mess it up. Send it over. I do build on commission. Ooh, tiny screw, tiny screw. Oh, looks like my wife just left the house. Probably gonna go on a walk. Can we ban peach-colored PCBs? Correct me if I'm wrong, for other people who own exclusive boards, if I'm not mistaken, his black PCBs have always been bootmapper client using an Atmega 32A microcontroller, and his orangish PCBs all tend to be 32U4s. So at least that's what I've noticed. Not sure if that's true. Come on, is there another screw I'm not seeing here? Because it's not coming out. Come on. There it is. It's coming out. Is it just really tight in the K? That's probably the reason. Feels like something's screwed in over here. That's not the case. Another screw on the PCB. You think it's on the PCB? Oh, I see it. No, that's the stab screw. Oh, I see it. It's all the way in there. Hidden. There we go. I was like, I've never seen a top mount where it's so tight fitting. There we go. That's the top half. And the PCB. Let's see. Oh, guys, Alejandro is the customer today. Just looking at his stabs to see what might be causing it. Nothing seems amiss, so maybe it's just bad stabs. Alejandro, what brand are these stabilizers, if you remember? Alright, let's pull out that desoldering gun. Oh, Alejandro says no idea. Ah, that's probably why. Tomb Spirit, thank you for your 5 bits. Show love 5. And Grim Maniac, thanks for following as well. I have no name says, is the FR301 worth it? I think so. It saved me a lot of time in the past, and it continually does so as well. Ackerman, thanks for following. turned on the iron. The pump is indeed tiring. So Alejandro, because of this board, I actually recently just bought creams as well. So thank you for the inspiration. I've used creams before, but you know, I've never really typed on creams outside of a meetup. So now I'm just like, oh, these are good. I'll try it out. I will succumb to the Tfue hype. Alright. Seems good. It clogs your pump too, I know, right? Creams aren't bad switches. They're just not as good as what people say they are. They're not like top tier, but I would probably say they're like middle tier. McEggrel says, have I ever tried cream stems in alpaca? Smooth and sounds so good. Ooh, really? I might have to try that since I do have alpacas. Yay. What I really want to try though is UHMWPE in an alpaca. But I don't know, sometimes I feel Franken switches take too much effort. I'd rather just film and lube a switch that's already good and be done with it. Ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. That is hard to remember. I'm white. Wow. Just poked myself there. Woo. Dang. Oh well. Burn myself. Whew. Oh well. Nothing like searing hot poke rod. I know, right? Looking pretty good so far. I'm gonna have to brush this board afterwards because I'm seeing a lot of excess flux everywhere. And that's not gonna be fun when I'm soldering later. I have to solder that guy again and desolder. Be careful this time. Don't burn myself. So you guys might be asking, Merlin, the customer only asked you to change stabs. Why are you desoldering the whole board? Because while it's possible to change stabs without fully desoldering, you can actually break the board that way by prying the plate and all that. So the safer approach is to just desolder the whole thing, especially if you have the right tools. Hiro-san says hi. Hello to you too. How's it going? It is going well. You're desoldering a board. MacPlee is now following. Thanks, man. Let's see, I see a few other ones. Dr. Owned, Ackerman. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all your support. Ooh. Okay. Oof. Okay. I'm gonna have to resolder just one of these guys. Actually, no, he looks good. Let's try it. Let's try removing them all. Yep. That seems to be good. Let's see, where's my little switch removal tool? Here it is. That's really tight. I think it's because it's 5-pin. Here. So the plate is tight, but the PCB is not tight. Maybe I can just lift off the PCB. And if I do that, I won't have to put all the switches back in. So let me just resolder this one switch, because it's giving me the creeps. I think it won't lift right out. Much better. Much better. tighten it up a little bit. Yeah, it's one of those holes which is part of the ISO layout, so it's a solderable hole, but it's part of the stabilizer hole as well. Let's see. If I did this correctly, I should be able to just pry up the whole board. And what do you know? That was super simple. Ta-da! And now I don't even need to... I don't need to redo any of this. Perfect. Okay, let's grab some ESD foam really quick. Yeah, let's do that. There. Some ESD. Xenophobia says, nice, I know, right? Right. Perfect. Okay, so just to make sure I didn't screw up on any of the desoldering, we are going to test the PCB. Test the PCB, make sure everything works. Lights still go on. Interesting. All right. Okay, here we go. Where's my little tweezer? Just make sure everything works before we rebuild. There we go. Go. I guess it got reset for some odd reason. Probably when I pressed enter. That's the MO key. Perfect. Yay, everything works. Awesome. I like it when everything works like that. Alright, let's take off all these stabilizers. All these stabilizers. Oh, I noticed none of these stabilizers have washers on them. So that's something we can add as well. That should reduce any issues for rattling and possibly shorts. Okay, let's get rid of these bad stabilizers. Oh, and they dropped right out. Awesome. And gross. There is a something on the PCB. What the heck is that? It's like foam or something added to the... Oh! Alejandro, if you're still on, that's probably what's causing the mushiness. It had some kind of strange foam on it. Picking it up with tweezers. It's got that. That's probably what was causing it, man. You. What is it? Cornbread? Well, regardless, I will use the other stabs, the arguably better stabs. It almost seems like someone tried to reduce the rattle and put foam on it of sorts. That's what it looks like. It's just... That was shoved under the stabs. Yeah, this was shoved under the stab. That's probably what was causing it. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. Well, it's second hand, so not sure. Ah, okay. Second hand indeed. Okay, well, we will put the new stabs on, and we'll go from there. I'd say regardless, it's... Even if those were good stabs, I think these should be better for you in the long run. Okay, let's start putting the screws in. Where are the screws? Ah. We want washers, and we want screws. Yeah, that's probably my most... I believe it's my strangest find on a customer's board so far. It's like, why? It almost feels like they were unhappy with their stabs. So they were like, okay, well, why don't I try cushioning it? Which might have contributed to the worst feeling. Who knows, hopefully this one will feel better for you. Gotta get yourself a solder gun. Maybe not a solder gun, but a desoldering gun. Like the one that I have right now. What stabs are going in their place? They are called, oops. They're called Zug gears, which are essentially Durocs. Apparently he bought these from Amazon. I never actually heard of them before until today. Well, I did not hear about them until he sent them to me, and today on stream I learned that they are actually Durocs. Courtesy of its logo for poop and Nebulant, actually. They're the ones who told me about it. Dr. Allen says, nice, always good to learn something new, especially when it comes to sourcing parts. I know, right? I feel like it's so hard to get anything keyboard related these days. Cozy, thanks for joining in. This is probably one of my smoothest desolder jobs. After I desoldered the entire board, I just lifted the board up and it was fine. So now I don't need to re-put all of the switches back into the plate. They're just already in there. I've yet to have a flawless victory on a full desolder. You'll get there one day. To be fair, you've got a bunch of through-hole parts, so I would be very surprised if you could, you know, lift up like your discipline and all the parts would just fall off like that. Asian Fork, thanks for following. I heard my name earlier, but was doing something else. What? Oh, nothing. Just talking about you. How you're the one who told me that Zug, that Zug gear was actually Duroc. You and logo for poop, actually. Right. The final stab. And this is where I always forget it, so I am going to... This is where I... No such thing as too much flux. You know, some people even use flux for like literally every time they solder or every time they desolder. Alright. Your stabs already sound pretty good right now. Awesome. Alright, let us... Let me just put away some of my tools here, it's getting really crowded. First, let me add a tiny bit of lube to your stabs here. Should be all good there. Cozy says, why didn't anyone tell me ISP flashing on the Mac is like a billion times faster than with WinAVR on Windows? Went from 30 seconds to 2 seconds for my bootloaders. I don't know. I thought that was... I actually thought most people knew that. Alright. Didn't know it was that big of a difference. It's pretty big. That's still too hot. Okay. Just make sure all of the switches are fully seated in place. Yeah, I think that's good. Looks good. Alright. With any hope, I can just lay it back down and push it in. Right? Regular flashing is faster on not Windows. I know, right? Everything's slower on Windows these days. Oh, of course I put the stabilizers in the wrong location. I was looking at it wrong. Should we install VirtualBox? Where to buy pirate GMK lessons from Merlin? You need to feel like you're making poetry? No, pottery, I mean. But we could make poetry too if you want. Or I could just sing to you, I guess. When I become famous, buy followers. Ooh, it is a bot. Buy followers. That's how you become famous, apparently. No, I'm curious how many people actually do that. I'm super curious. How many YouTubers, how many streamers actually go that route? I'd be very curious to know what the statistics are. Like, obviously it works, otherwise people wouldn't be, you know, advertising it. So putting the PCB back on is harder than just lifting it off. There we go. I got it. I got it. Whoa, my lights just flickered. What are the keycaps on the board that I have plugged in? If you do ! keyboard, it will tell you. Alright, it's not particularly windy here, so I don't know why my lights are like flickering. If my stream goes offline, something went out. Something went out. It's always painfully obvious chat with 300 people in it and nobody is talking. They're talking about the bots and all that. Oh, that's so weird. Huh. You know what? One of these switches got shifted. That's why it's not going all the way through. There we go. Let's get that space bar out of the way first. That's what's in the way. Okay. Should be good now, I hope. There we go, yeah, definitely helps. Okay. This guy too. See? He's been shifting around, so I need to pull him out first, I guess. Centered or not. Yeah, there we go. Yay, everything's going in. That is much easier. still feel like I'm getting some resistance somewhere. There's probably a bent pin somewhere here. I guess we'll find out once we start soldering. But I'd rather find out now. Time to examine each and every one. Got it, boys. It was the caps lock. This Alejandro like stepped, so we need to shift it over to the side. But yeah, looks like everything's in place. Looks good. We can get to soldering now. Awesome. Dr. Owen is making bread. What kind of bread are you making? I'm very curious. Alright, soldering time. Let's use up the last of my solder here. Then we'll move on to a new roll. Should order some resistors. Spot LEDs for your Nyquist, but you don't have resistors. Flush. It's a white bread from Ken Forkish. There's a great book called Saltwater Flour Yeast. Interesting. There was someone else on stream who was making bread just the other day. Forgot his name. No, I guess if you're stuck at home, might as well learn a new skill. I should have enough anchor points. Alright, I think I have enough anchor points so that the PCB doesn't separate itself from the plate anymore. Awesome. Okay, onwards to the new roll. Should be able to breeze right on through this now. Here we go. Make sure they're all flush. Oh, I forgot. Let me turn on my fume extractor just to be safe here. Damage Point subscribed at tier 1. Thank you, man. And I'm sorry, Damage Point. GMK Merlin is still not with me. Zabamon says, hey, how are you doing? I'm doing well. Today we are building an E7-V1. And Zambamon, I still have to get back to you regarding your query about that via support for that particular board. What do I think of Paco switches? I've never actually tried them outside of a meetup as well. It didn't really stand out to me, to be honest. That's a nice yellow PCB. It's It's more orange. It's more an orange yellow. Let's see. How does it look on stream? On stream, it's a little more yellow than it actually is. Not by much though. I know. Okay, so I did receive word from Kono, and as of this week, actually, they have their new warehouse, and all the items have supposedly been shipped to the new warehouse. Andrew, the CEO of Kono, is supposed to be checking on it either this weekend or next week to ensure everything is in place. Like, at this point, they know that GMK Merlin is there, but because they haven't counted it at all, they don't know if everything made it. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I'll have more news for people. Neblin says, tell them they can't have any more root beer till it shifts. Oh gosh. Nebulin, don't you visit their corporate office every now and then? Not since I moved. Ah, oh yes, you're right. Okay. You're in Maine now, that's right. In Maine. Out of curiosity, is there a significant keyboard community in Maine? Or would you say you are the main enthusiast? To be honest, I don't even know where Maine is. My knowledge of US geography is very lacking. It's the only state that borders only one state. I didn't even know that. Come on, Maine is so huge. I don't know. I'm a foreigner. That's my excuse. I'm just a foreigner. I've not taken my citizenship exam. So I haven't had to learn any of this yet. The only thing you know about Maine is lobsters. Oh yeah, Maine lobsters. Dabulent has the crying phase. I'm sorry, man. We're all geographically challenged here, apparently. Really sparsely populated state. Still has true wilderness. Interesting. The good thing is because the plate is so tight, all of the switches seem to have already locked in place. But I'm still doing this anyway, just to be absolutely sure. I don't know who built Alejandro's board for him, or well, he did say he bought it secondhand, but if anything, I do want to exceed the build quality. Maine has the beautiful coastline. Are there a bunch of Maine Coons in Maine as well? Isn't that where they're from? Not like roaming around. That'd be pretty cool if they were. Just look outside. Oh look, it's a Maine Coon. Alright, just want to make sure that... Holy shit. Okay. Let's see. Let me just be absolutely sure. I have all let's see. Okay. Yep, I knew it. I put the switch in the wrong location. That shouldn't be a problem. So I didn't solder it yet. It needs to be shifted over to the left by 1. Okay. Can do this. I had my suspicions, so I'm glad I caught it before we desoldered, or before we soldered. Ah. Oof. That stem popped right out. Oh my gosh, this plate is so tight. Holy crap. Okay. That is a tight plate. My word. Holy cow. That is a tight plate. Let me try and take that out. Creams are brittle too, yeah. Where did the stem fly off to? The stem flew out. I don't know where it went. Okay. Regardless, I am getting creams in, so if anything, I'll just replace the stem if I don't find it. Here, let me crawl on the floor really quick. I'm sure the stem is somewhere here. Could it have flown off? You saw the stem go back behind the monitor. Really? It went behind the monitor. Oof. Did it fall down anywhere? Cream stem, where are you, cream stem? Did it fall on the floor? Yes, it did. We found it. Awesome. But that still leaves us with the bottom part of the switch stuck in the plate. Why are these so tough to remove? Holy crap. Let's try again. You thought that the stem might have shadow round. Here. Yeah, that's not coming out very easily. Shoots. If anything, let me put in my other switches first. Put that in. The little plate clips on creams work a little too well. Yeah, I know, right? But Cozy, this worked out very well on the Discipline. Alright. Worst comes to worst, I might have to destroy the switch and replace it with the creams that I have coming in. Oof. This is tough. Alright. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The clip came off, guys. Okay. I am replacing it. Replacing it for sure. Okay. That's what I was saying about brittle, so man. Yeah, it's clipped on very neatly right there. Just push the screwdriver into the center stem from underneath. That's a good idea. Let's try that. Let's not poke ourselves, Merlin. Here, let me pick a smaller one so I don't make the hole any bigger than I need to. not really a project unless there are unexpected problems. The thing is, I knew creams were tight. And I've worked with creams before, but never creams on a brass plate. Yeah, it's not coming out. Trying to like poke away at it here. Yeah, see, I put it in the wrong hole. It would have worked. All right, regardless, we can continue soldering the rest of them. Let's just do that. I can at least finish up the rest of the soldering job. While my soldering iron heats itself back up, let me try prying it away. Stupid clips. Stupid clips. Yeah, it's already broken, so let's see. Yeah, that's not doing anything. I just dented my table too. Shoots. All right. I thought I had it in the right hole. Because it looked centered, but then it wasn't. Oh wait, I know what happened. Do you guys remember earlier when I was aligning all of these stabs? And I was like, oh wait, I was looking at it from the other side, so I moved the stab position, but the switch was still in relation to the old stab position. That's why I messed it up. The rebuild was going so well too, yeah, I know, until we got to this one switch. Alright. You have to compress the tabs and lever the switch from the PCBs. Oof. Like plastic. Okay. Well, I am going to solder the rest of them. It seems like this is a switch that wasn't meant to be taken off very easily. Imagine all the people who had a brass plate and a hot swap board trying to remove these. I had this happen with my tofu, he says. Okay, if anything, let's put on the rest of them. Okay. Let's see. Max Joette says, hello to you too. Okay. Thick brass plate and creams do not go well together. No, since I pretty much have my heart set to break this switch, why don't I just continue breaking it? Let me just keep breaking it, since it's already broken. There's no need to really baby it anymore. Let's do it. Let's do it. How can I best break the switch so it all comes out? Probably with a flush cutter. Let's do a flush cutter. Flush cutter, where are you? Where are my tools when I need them? Cozy Fan 2D says 2 books, elevate the PCB, screwdriver method, straight down and hard. Just go back and heard broken switch. Yeah, dude. I put your spacebar switch in the wrong spot. So before I soldered it, I tried to take it back out, but as I pulled it out, I snapped the casing. So now it's stuck in there. So I need to figure out how to remove it. It's a good thing that I have creams coming in as well, so I will be replacing this switch of yours. But yes, let's see. I'm gonna have to cut it. Let me look for where I put my flush cutter. I don't know where I put that flush cutter. Alejandro says he's got 100 creams if needed. Okay. Try cutting it. I think I want the flush cutter approach better. Arcadio Cigar has rated me with a party of 2. Thank you, man. Sage of Glass says some of my hot top switches are stuck in my PCB. Any suggestions? Well, you should, if they're not Krames or Kailh switches in general, you should be able to pull them out just with a tool like this. You know? See, I see a lot of messages in chat. People trying to help me. I see a Max Joad saying, "Can I ask you a beginner question?" Yes, you may. There we go. Let's go destroy the switch. Time to destroy the switch. Oof, this is gonna be painful. Okay, guys. Get ready for some gore. Wahaha. I'm gonna pry it out. Rip little switch, I know, right? Goodbye, creams. Yeah, I figure if I'm just gonna replace it anyway, and the housing's already broke, might as well just go ham at it. There we go. Got one side off. Let's take out the actual housing assembly. There's no metal that I'm trying to get in. There we go. Let's take out the leaf. It's all coming out. There we go. Thanks, Nebulant. Dr. Owen says baking is probably safer for the PCB. Yeah, I know. So my two options in this case was to desolder again and then properly move the switch over, or do what Nebulant was suggesting, which I'm prying from the PCB, and I'm kind of like, I probably shouldn't do that. And plus, all of the prying and stuff might also damage the plate, so I'd rather err on the side of caution than anything. It's even a Merlin affiliate link. Nice. Switch surgery. Let's give myself some more room. What switch is this? It was a cream. You cry every time. Might be enough to push it out. Little pieces coming out. Cozy does have a point there. But since I already started this route, I am bound to finish it this way. Let's just keep cutting it. That's why I took the metal pieces out so nothing pops out on me. All these pieces flying out. Goodbye, Switch. Yeah! It almost seems like it can come off any minute now. Sorry. Let me try. Let me try pushing it out. Oh. Not quite. Almost there. A couple more snips and it'll come out. Woo! That one hit me in the ear. There. Switch gore. Switch gore right there. We're almost there though. We are almost there. This is not how you would normally take out a cream, but since I'm replacing it anyway, I figured I might as well. If I could get this bottom part out of the way, I think would be good. And for the time being for the build, I think I might just replace it with the Gateron yellow or something. Break the clips hold. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Just try my best not to scratch the plate too. There we go. There we go. There we go. I think that's part of the clip. There we go. We got it out. Whew. Okay, and for the time being, we are just gonna put a linear in it. Like so. And we'll try that spacebar again for size. Ah, much better. No more mush, hooray. No more mush. Excellent. I like that. Okay, so I'll just desolder this again when I get my switches in. But for now, let's finish up the soldering job. Whew, that was quite the challenge. Goodbye, little cream switch. It's your fault for being stubborn and being stuck in the plate. Nebulin says the bits flying, right? Well, Nebulant, I need to make the bits fly on this channel somehow, right? Alright, here goes. Let's solder up the rest of the board. Oh, let's turn on the fume extractor. Nebulan says, I don't see how with punts like that. They don't just rain from the sky. Ha ha ha. Funny. Rickin Gaming says, where can I get my hands on that desk mat? This was a desk mat sold on keyclack.com back in 2015. You may be able to still find it on like eBay or AliExpress. See, I've been going for 2 hours and 6 minutes. Awesome. Do you ever buy up AliExpress? I bought a few things, like non-keyboard related items. But my latest purchase was actually keyboard related. I bought an ID80, which I am still waiting for. It's currently stuck in Shenzhen. I've been waiting since early February, so it's been a long while. Dr. Owen says, do you solder one post for each switch? Yes, I do. I solder each post, and then I reflow that solder while I'm pushing the switch in and aligning it to make sure that the switch is completely flush with the PCB. That gives it the best stability, and when you put all of your keycaps on, some keycaps aren't standing up because your switch isn't soldered in correctly. Evelyn says, time to make dinner. Nice. So the way I do my soldering is I pick anchor points. Usually it's in the four corners and some in the middle. I solder both legs on those switches just to fully align the plate. And then I do the one leg at a time that I was just talking about for every other switch. It takes longer, but it results in a cleaner soldering job, I believe. I basically have a lot less to worry about. Alright, I'm just gonna solder in the linear switch, but I'll remove it once my cream switch comes in. You need to rebuild your E7. What are you rebuilding it with? Alright, everything should be soldered. Let's just double check. Make sure nothing looks like a cold joint. Everything looks conical. That joint looks like I put too much solder on. There we go. Alright. Looks good. Looks good. Let's test it. Let's test that I actually soldered it correctly before I start putting it together and cleaning it up. Good, it still lights up. Let's go back to GMK configurator. Let's reset. Refresh the page. Okay. Looks good. Looks good. Next, like I said at the beginning of this show, I wanted to clean up all of that excess solder flux. So hold on. The way I like to do this is use a used toothbrush or anything like that. Make sure it's clean or so. Use isopropyl alcohol and scrub as if you were, you know, brushing your teeth. Rate my setup says, you try H1s. No, I have not. I was too late to the game. People just jump on things. Jump on things way too quick. So what I'm doing here is I'm cleaning off the excess flux that results whenever you solder a board or you desolder a board. And by excess, all that excess flux that you see is usually this yellow or this brown stuff that's on it. And it looks ugly, to be honest. But for a board like this, where you can't even see the PCB, it doesn't really matter. But this is something that I like to do for customers. You know, just like, it's like a fit and finish thing. Oh, one reason why you want to do this is because excess flux on your board can actually lead to corrosion. So if you have too much of it, especially on your joints, then your joints can possibly corrode and lead to a cold solder joint. So then you will lose connection between that switch and the circuit board. So this is why you want to do this. I always say it like this though. If you use a brush, the brush, because of its bristles, will actually remove the flux really quick. But at the same time, it's going to spread the flux all around. So after you do this, you're going to need to grab like Q-tips and scrub that off too. Great, my setup says I bought 180 when they released just because I knew they would sell out, waiting on my new board to arrive. One thing I didn't like about the H1s is that they are rated heavier than any linear that I own. So I was a little bit hesitant to buy them. Like, I think they're as heavy as regular Cherry MX Blacks, which I don't particularly like. So I was like, I don't want to buy switches just because they're hype. I want to buy switches because I think I'll like them, you know? I know it's like one of the traps in this hobby, just because everyone says it's awesome doesn't necessarily mean it's awesome for you. Doesn't anyone spring swap them? Sure. But you could do that with pretty much any switch. Make sure you brush in a circular motion. So Alejandro, if you're still watching, your board will not only be cleaned of excess flux, but will be properly sanitized during these COVID-19 times. Yeah, so from the get-go, this was not only a used board, but it looks like it had been previously desoldered as well. There's so much flux on this, holy crap. But it is starting to look nicer. What plate is that? Yes, this is a brass plate. Too much alcohol. Dr. Owen says, can a PCB put up with repeated desolderings or does it eventually wear out too much? As long as you are desoldering properly, it should be able to put up with it. Like, for example, if you guys know who Man of Interest is, Huey, he has a Duck Eagle Viper which he has desoldered and soldered at least 8 times at this point. And he doesn't use a desoldering, well, the streams I've seen him do it, he wasn't using a desoldering iron. He was using a regular soldering iron and a sucker. But what I'm doing right now, like cleaning off all of this excess flux, this ensures that the PCB will last longer. Give your thumbs a workout. How often would I lube my switches? I'd say probably once every 20 years. Yay. That is looking so much cleaner. Makes me happy. Better set my reminder for 20 years. Yeah, right? You could race a kid to adulthood during that time period. Very nice. It's harder than brushing your teeth. Yeah, this is pretty much like, what do you call this? Back in the day, I was using a manual toothbrush. So when I first got my Costco membership, the first thing I did was buy a bunch of toothbrushes because, you know, I was like, oh, for myself, so I don't have to worry about it. And then like, oh, I'll give some to family. Sure enough, like 2-3 months later, someone gifted me a electronic toothbrush, and I was kind of like, why use manual ever again? So I've had this stash of toothbrushes for years at this point. So I was like, oh, maybe when I have guests I can use them. Guests who stay overnight, and that's happened a few times, but more than likely I end up using them for cleaning PCBs. The G1BRT says hello. Hello to you too. Right. Yeah, that is a clean PCB. Pretty, pretty, pretty. All right, let's get to the Q-tip part. That should be enough Q-tips. To make sure, like once you do this, the PCB ends up getting really sticky because you've spread the flux all over. So what you want to do next is take a Q-tip. See, it's turning yellow already. So you can see a couple follows here. Mataz, G1LBRT has also followed. Thanks, man. David98, EPK3, Chongosaurus. Rate my setup, all you guys. Thanks for all your support. It means a lot. And make sure you guys tune in next week. I try to do giveaways at least once a month here, just to thank all of my lovely supporters here. And I'm not giving away anything massive or anything, but just kits here and there. Occasionally some switches. But make sure you guys tune in next week. It's giveaway week next week. Now this is crazy dirty. You joined the decent 65 GB today. Congratulations. I hope you like that board. It's got all these cool fancy colors. I chose not to because I'm already part of the 7V group buy. I think I can only do one fancy board a quarter. And this board has just accumulated so much excess flux over the last couple times it's been desoldered and resoldered. Dang, it's so dirty. Well, yep, it's not sticky anymore. Got most of the flux off. Hooray. Good stuff. Alright, Alejandro, this board will be returning to you in much cleaner conditions. Yeah. So much flux. Holy cow. Alright. We good. We good here. That. Very nice. Alright, let's put this board together. Let's put the board together. Now, to be fair, this was actually one of the boards I really wanted to get in on, but at the time, exclusive wasn't as well known as he is today, and I was feeling a bit weary of going with the Chinese group buy. Now I know there's really nothing to worry about, but at the time I was legit concerned. That logo by the spacebar looks like the logo for Sun Microsystems. Yeah, I know, right? In fact, it's here. Let's take a look at it. It's just an E. It's multiple E's, all facing each other. E Corp. Or Exclusive Corp. Alright. Here we go. Oh man, yeah. I just can't. Oh, that PCB looks so much nicer. No more ugly flex residue. Yay! Alright. Here's the bottom part of the case with sorbethane on it. Epsilon says, Mr. Robot reference. No, I've only watched one episode of Mr. Robot, so I'm not as well versed. Let's see, the longer screws go in the top. And they are hex. Enron. I guess Enron could be considered an evil corporation. Right now, I started a new series on Netflix, or on Hulu actually, called Devs. It's kind of an eerie show about programming. There's murder and intrigue in it already. Alright, here we go. Let me throw stuff away here really quick. BRB. Alright, I'm back. Alright. Let's see. Let's clean up a bit. Is that one of the Novelkeys switch puller? I can't remember. I have several switch pullers. It could possibly be one. Impressa X has followed. Thanks, man. DGen118 and Matas. Thanks for following, guys. Oh! I did not realize that was an open case. Crap. Chasing a Tom says, holy hell, a wizard. Welcome to my channel, the most magical in the keyboard community. Okay, I think we got all the screws there. There we go. Perfect. Right. So I'm going to be putting on the same keycaps that came with the board. These are GMK Hyperfuse. This Hyperfuse is actually one of my favorite colorways. But before we do that, before we get into putting keycaps on and testing out the board on a typing test, I would like to take this time just to chat about my beautiful sponsors. Let's see. Here we go. The first one up is Novelkeys. Here we go. If you guys have never heard of Novelkeys, Novelkeys is a keyboard vendor located in West Virginia. He has a couple of group buys going on right now. He's doing Cat Arctic, Cat Profile, Blue key set. You've got until June 1st to purchase this. Everything's under $40, but to get everything that you need, you will be spending about as much as a GMK key set. The Arctic dust pad looks very scenic as well. Look at that. He's also selling, oh yeah, someone on stream mentioned the Decent 65. I believe this ends tonight, doesn't it? May 9th? Yeah, this ends tonight. If you guys are interested in purchasing a decent keyboard, you can pick up one of these for $310, or if you Cerakote it, it's $390. PCB is made by Martin What, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, TA65 by Martin What, along with Salvin as the manufacturer for the case. You'll have QMK and VIA. If you think you've seen this board before, it's because from the top, it very much looks like an M65A, a Koyu, or any of that. See all that? But yeah, it's $390 or $310. Cryptoid says, does my order come with the free pocket wizard if I use code Merlin? No, I do not get anything from the usage of the discount code, nor do I send anything out from the usage of my discount code. It's simply for your benefits, so you can get 5% off. See what else. He's also running GMK Classic Blue Group Buy. Out of all the GMK sets currently running this month, that's blue. This is actually my least favorite because it looks very much like a Thai house set, to be honest. Like this one looks very GMK Striker-ish, so if I had to buy this set, I would go this route. See what else. Let's go. My next sponsor. Oh wait, no, hold on. Anything else he's doing? Nope, he's not. Next sponsor is Zeal PC. Zeal PC is located in Richmond, Canada. You may have heard of him for his very expensive switches or his very expensive stabilizers. I believe he uses a variant of the stabilizers I use today, and instead of selling them for about 15 bucks, they're 30 bucks. They are reported to be better, but if it's $30 better, that's a question that only you can answer. I usually recommend to people that if you want to buy Zeal switches, wait for a group buy, because it drops usually from $1 to possibly 60 or 70 cents a switch. Much more affordable. My next sponsor, oh, hold on. Xenophobia isn't online, so he's not putting in all my website stuff. There we go. Next sponsor is DixieMech. DixieMech is doing a group buy for a very highly anticipated set called GMK Redacted. Originally started as an April Fool's, but I guess it got really, really popular that people wanted it. Just as a disclosure, the only part of this kit that I'm actually interested in is the novelties. Because look at that. Where else are you gonna find novelties like this? You got top secret, classified document, redacted, secret, sealed, you know. I said this last week, but the only addition I'd like to put on this is that if row 1 is top secret, there should be a row 4 bottom secret. Here, let's put that in. Dixie. Let's see, how does he post how the set's doing? Guess not. But look at that. This is... I'm not a big fan of the dust mat. That actually looks pretty bad. So I will not be going for the dust mat. My next sponsor is Keebio. Keebio is a fellow QMK contributor or QMK collaborator. There's a bunch of boards in stock. You've got the Iris, you've got someone on chat was talking about the BDN9. Unfortunately, this one is sold out. I was really hoping to pick one up for myself as well. I was a bit too late. I recently built an Iris. Here, let me show you guys. Recently built an Iris. I realized that the included sandwich mounting system wasn't to my preferences, so I'm having a friend of mine 3D print me an angled case. Hopefully that will feel better for me, because gaming on this felt kind of weird, to be honest. But yeah, if you guys go on Keebio and use discount code wizardhat, you can get up to 15% off select items. Last but not the least, and the sponsor I'm actually most excited about, Project Keyboard is running a group buy for a set I have been waiting on for the longest time. This is GMK Masterpiece. It's running until June 2nd. What's so special about this for me? Mainly because I really wanted to get onto GMK Striker, but I missed out because I couldn't afford it at the time. So I was really hoping for another blue set with Japanese characters on it. Yes, I'm a weeb, sure. So I'm definitely going for Masterpiece. I'll be getting the base and the clarity and the endgame dust mat. These are the three things that I terribly want. And a lot of people have been asking, Merlin, when is Project Keyboard restocking on their lube? They actually restocked last week during my stream, but they're all out again. Hopefully he can restock sooner too. He also did mention to me that he was doing mobs again, but we don't know when that will actually occur. Alright guys, it's time to put keycaps on this board and do a quick typing test to see how these stabs feel. Here, let's put the enter key on. Yep, that already feels better. I like that. It's a huge improvement. Yep. That makes me happy. Makes me very happy. I know this is not a cream, so it's probably gonna sound different. But regardless, what's important? Oh yes, it sounds so much nicer. Makes me happy. Cryptoid says insider mob info. Well, it's not necessarily insider, because 159 has showed up on stream multiple times and said what I just said. Yeah, I'm happy that this board sounds better now. It's funny because when like Alejandro first gave me this board, I was like, he told me that the stabilizers were bad, and I like tested them while holding it up. I'm like, not so much. Maybe he's just min-maxing it, right? So I used it at home for a while, played some FPSs, and I was just like, I cannot jump at all for this. Holy crap! Like every time, there were some cases where when I pressed the spacebar, it would stay down for a fraction of a second and then come back up. But this time, that is pristine right there. It makes me so happy. Sage of Glass says, can you recommend a starter 60 to 65% keyboard around $200? I would recommend looking into getting a Tofu 60 with a PCB of your choice. If you want hot swap, there's the KBD fans DZ60 version 2, I believe, is what they're up to right now. Did you replace the switch? I just put a linear in it. When I get my stock of creams, I'll go desolder it and replace it again. But check it out, man. It works so much better. Works so much better. Even like all of them feel substantially better. I was also joking with the crowd that since I used alcohol to like clean up all of the flux, your board is also now properly sanitized for the times that we are in. Much appreciated. Yeah, you won't ever see the PCB, but you know, I just like cleaning up the PCB so it looks better. It just makes me feel better. We'll do a typing test of this in just a bit. F7 Q another one of your dream boards. And in case you missed this Tuesday stream, this board cannot be supported in VIA. Makes you want to get one even more now, I know, right? I've been telling people, oh, don't sell your board yet until I get it into VIA, because you'll be able to sell it for a lot more. I've even been asked by some people, Merlin, if you can get this board into VIA, can you not contribute it so that it's the only board with it? And I'm like, that doesn't sit well with me, so no. And the last and final key, F6. Oh wait, these guys too. Insert, delete. Ta-da! E7-V1 with GMK Hyperfuse. Let's do a quick typing test, shall we? Oh, that spacebar. Sounds so good. Okay. Let's do some typing tests right here. Typing test. Typings.gg. It's already in Hyperfuse. Awesome. Let's pause the music for a bit. Oh man. Oh, I love that snake effect. Okay. Let's see how this sounds, guys. Lower my mic just a tiny bit. Okay. Here goes. No! Wow. .124, accuracy of 95. Let's try that again. Let's try and go for 100. No! No! $127. All right. Cool. So, one thing that interests me about creams is that they are also 70G bottom out, the same as my Gateron Black inks. The Gateron Black inks are the switch that I've been able to type the fastest on. They're currently on my Volcano, so I'm hoping that once I get those switches in, I'll put it on a similar type board, and it'll feel good to type on. So Alejandro, not sure if you're hearing this, but this guy sounds radically different from all the other ones. I can definitely hear the difference between the linear and the cream. Alejandro has gifted a tier 1 sub to Takuchi. Thanks, man. Paying for the gift they got from Olivia. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah. So once that cream switch comes in, I'll replace this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that just whew, sounds so much nicer. All right, one last typing test. No. $131. That spacebar was killing me before. Dude, I was telling the audience that I was FPSing with this. And when you can't jump reliably, it is a pain. It's such a pain. So I am glad that this is fixed now. When those switches come in, I'll replace it promptly and I'll get back to you. But yeah, I typically hold on to the board for an additional week just to make sure everything's working. But so far so good. Everything worked as expected. Right, let's see. What time is it? It's 4:23 p.m. here in Seattle, Washington. Thanks everyone for watching. Just as a quick recap, today we rebuilt Alejandro, who is in chat. We rebuilt his E7-V1. The issue was that he had a really bad stabilizer. And he gave me a bunch of Zuggear ones, which are actually Durox, to replace them all. Rather than pry open the board, pry open the plate, and try and squeeze all of these new stabs in, I surmised that it would be much better to desolder the entire board. So that's what I did. I desoldered the entire board, put the new stabs on, and in the process actually messed up putting the switch in the right hole. So now I currently have a linear in it, but once my cream switches come in, they will be replaced. So yeah, thanks guys for joining in. If you guys are looking for build services, you can contact me on Discord, MacMerlin #29999. I'm located in Seattle, Washington, but we'll pretty much build for anyone, even if you're abroad. But shipping is a pain, so yeah, look for someone local. Anyway, thanks guys. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. Stay safe and wash your hands. Bye bye.